In any internet browser, all you need to do is pop into either the search or the top field in that, Canada.ca, and this will be the first page that you come to. So, of course, Canada being officially bilingual with two official languages, you can choose either English or French to be able to get into the website. And then this is your main landing page. The color, the background, some of the key items do change pretty regularly. And so, of course, today is the National Indigenous Persons Day, and June is National Indigenous History Month. So our backgrounds and everything have changed with regards to that. The important thing to note is this is the main landing hub for all things federal government. Okay, so Government of Canada. And so depending on what you may have interest in or you're trying to find information in, it has a search function at the top here where it covers the whole website. So as you scroll down, and you will notice this sign in button here, it will automatically take you to a page where no matter which department it is and which sign in online tool that they have available, it will come up on that page, and then you could just choose, do I want to go into CRA's My Account? Do I want to go into Service Canada's My Service Canada account? That option is there available to you very easily right off the main page, so you don't have to worry about finding it anywhere else. As you scroll down, you will find that there is an area that does tend to get updated as well, depending on the time of year that it is, with the most requested, right? So again, it has a sign into an account, COVID-19 related information, which will cover everything from health measures to any kind of emergency benefits, all of those types of things. Public pensions, getting a passport, visiting Canada. This might be of interest to you should you ever choose that you want to visit Canada. There's all kinds of information on this main website. So as you scroll down on the page, you can see there's a number of different topics that are listed, everything from the environment to national security, transport, science and innovation, money and finances. And then the focus on, and that does also change as well, depending again on the time of year. Is it an observance month, or is there something going on? These may change from time to time as well. Scrolling down lower on the page in that, it also has information. Let's say you're trying to find the phone number for Service Canada, right? You can click on the Contact Us, and then it'll ask you to choose what department it is that you're looking to contact, and then it will take you to their page. Also, other general large umbrella type clicking, right? So departments, open government, treaties, working for the government. That would be all jobs within the public service, not specific to a department. Then again, moving down, government initiatives, right? As I mentioned, it's National Indigenous History Month. So they have highlights of what's happening with that. Right now, of course, in Canada, there are many areas in different provinces that are having real challenges and emergencies with wildfires. So that, of course, is a main topic of concern for many Canadians and those living outside of Canada as well, right? So if you're living outside of Canada, but you're concerned about family perhaps that you have here, you would be able to go in there to get hopefully some good information in that about that. The other good point to note is on every single one of the pages that you go to, it will have this date modified or an update, a date that the page was updated. So as you can see, this one was updated today because, of course, today is National Indigenous Peoples Day. Some of them you may go to and you may find it's been a number of months since something has been updated. Don't let that concern you. And that because, again, it could be simply a time of year, right? So with regards to income tax related issues, we may not update anything after about the beginning of May because we're out of the main tax filing season. And then all of a sudden it'll be January of the following year. And then we'll be doing weekly updates practically on there as things change and things move forward with the new tax filing season. So what I'd like to take you to right now, because this series is intended for seniors, the first one, it's not even my department, but I think it's a good one, is the public pensions link here. And so one of the things that you'll notice at the top here, you will see, I believe they call this a breadcrumb, but it'll kind of show you the drill down from the main page of where it is that that link is taking you to. So on this page here, it takes you with regards to public pensions in general, right? Information on CPP, old age security or OAS, related benefits, retirement income calculator, and retirement planning. So it really is a very fulsome and broad page with a lot of different information simply with regards to public pensions. Then as you scroll down, it has a different sub links that you can click into. So if you are specifically looking for something with regards to guaranteed income supplement or GIS, you would be able to click on that and it would take you to a page that is specific to that information. Maybe allowances for people that are age 60 to 64 who have a spouse who is receiving one of these other pensions, or benefits for Canadians abroad. So there's information on those types of situations, and these tend to come out of what I would almost say is a most requested, right? So the topics that different government departments get the most calls about, they try to put them under these headers so that it's easy for individuals to find the information. And you'll see in here, it's talking about contributors and that. So between Employment and Social Development Canada, or ESDC as they're often called, Financial Consumer Agency, those are the two specific departments that are contributing to the information on this page. One of the other things, though, that is really great on here is the payment calendar. So I'm just going to take you over to that. And as you'll see here in the search engine, we're still in Canada.ca. And I will get back to an example of why it's important to note if you're searching for something, where exactly you are in the website, right? But again, so it's taking you from the main hub into the now benefits page. And I can show you that back on the main page when we get back there in a moment. But this one is really great because it outlines out all of the benefit payments that individuals can expect here in Canada. So whether it's Canada Pension Plan, OAS, Old Age Security, maybe it is the quarterly GST, HST credit payments, right? And with regards to the year as to when you're expecting it. Here in Ontario, we have Ontario Trillium benefit that is paid out monthly for those that qualify. And then you'll also see Alberta has a separate child and family benefit that they pay out to residents of Alberta that meet qualifying information. And then also the climate action incentive payments, which moved from being a refundable credit, so that when you filed your income tax return, people that normally neither owed nor got money back, when this first came into being, and that all of a sudden people were getting refunds back when they filed their tax return. That changed last year, and the Canada Revenue Agency has now started rolling them out into quarterly payments. But so for 2023, right, if you're curious as to what day and what months that payment could be expected, you can just click on that and it will tell you. Now, of course, it won't tell you how much, because the amount that you're entitled to receive depends on, for climate action incentive, it depends on what your marital situation is and what province you live in. Okay, so a single person living in Ontario would get a certain amount. Someone who is married and living in Alberta would get something different. So all this is specifically telling you is what dates the payments are going out, and you can expect them. Okay, and we also, in order to try and make sure that we're making the information as easy to find and to understand. Most pages you will find this little questionnaire. Did you find what you were looking for, right? So if you didn't find what it was, you could click no and then it gives you options to be able to choose in and that to provide the feedback to us. Or even maybe if it, because you really like this page and it was really easy to find it, click yes and say, nope, this is perfect. Don't change a thing, please. Sometimes we change things and we think we're making it better, but maybe sometimes we don't. But this is a really, really good feedback mechanism that we do use to make improvements to our website. And so again, I mentioned that date modified on the page, and that this was last modified on March the 1st of 2023 because we already knew from all of the different departments that are paying out these different pensions, what the payment dates would be for this calendar year. So I'm just going to take you back here I'm going to go all the way back, I believe. I'm just using the back key to the main page here again. So let's say we wanted to search something like fraud, and we're in the Canada.ca main hub, or anywhere where it says Canada.ca. So we can type in fraud and hit enter. It brings up a page like this with search results. So because we're under all federal government departments, it brought back 263,211 results. And as you can see here, depending on what it is, and that just the word fraud brings up a lot of different choices. It takes a few to scroll down before you find the one on scams and fraud. And maybe that's really what it was that you were looking for. But also, it brings up specifically a BC RCMP report on scams and fraud. And at least from here, it also gives you the update as to when the information was updated in there. But so you can see how many it is with this, with just this general search in that way. So if I take you to the CRA portion more though, now you'll notice in here, it doesn't say search CRA. I'm not sure why it doesn't. It used to, but what I'd like to show you is if I put fraud in here now, it says Searching Canada Revenue Agency. So I'm not quite sure if there's been a bit of a glitch because this is what it should show up on the page that we were just on where I showed you after we clicked on do your taxes. And now you can see the results are much smaller and it automatically takes you to that scams and fraud page and then other links. And these will be searches specific to Canada Revenue Agency. Okay. We also do webinars and that, so that falls under the Government of Canada information, but this would be information specific to scam and fraud information that Canada Revenue Agency puts out. So that's why it's really important to ensure when you're searching for something that you're aware of where on the website that you actually are. So this is the getting ready to do your taxes page. And from the main page, it was the do your 2022 taxes. That tends to get under the most requested, updated and put up every year in and around the end of January, beginning of February. And that because our system converts over during that time from the previous year over to the new year that we're going to be filing income taxes for. This is a really great page. All the information that you would need really in order to get ready and then file and then what to do afterward with your income tax return each year during that filing season. So it takes a little while for it to get in and get up because we want to make sure that we have all the information and any updates or changes not relevant and included. But it lays it out really great. It also, though, highlights for you in that the taxpayer bill of rights, so your rights as a taxpayer, and very easily who should file a tax return. Because in a lot of the sessions that I do, or when I'm out at different fairs or at different events talking with folks, young and old alike, a lot of people now say, well, you know, do I even need to file a tax return, you know, or get the comment about I file a joint return with my spouse. I'm kind of struck and I go, okay, there's no such thing as a joint tax return, right? Each individual Canadian, whether you're married or you're single or you're common law or whatever the situation is, has to file a tax return of their own, whether they have income or not. So if you are married or you have a common law spouse or partner or this kind of thing, on your return, you state your marital status, right? As the fact that you do have a spouse. CRA and the systems will be looking for your spouse's information because part of the identification portion is on there is asking for your spouse's social insurance number and their first name and their net income amount. Isn't as big of a deal, and that if you don't know it, and that the social insurance number and the name is the more important part. But for calculating things like benefits and credits, so GST, HST quarterly payments, Ontario Trillium benefits, climate action incentive payments, or if you have children and that Canada Child Benefit, it is imperative that both spouses file their tax return so that CRA has all the information to run the calculations to know what you're entitled to receive for the new benefit year, which starts in July. We file our taxes by April 30th. As you go down here, it's talking about being aware of key dates. The 30th was a weekend this year, so it was actually May the 1st. And that's so you get, if it falls on a weekend, you get until the next business day, the Monday, to be able to file that. But then we use May and June to do all the calculations and that, so that we know exactly what the correct amounts are for people that they should be entitled to when that first benefit payment goes out in July. So there is no such thing as filing a joint return. And I just wanted to highlight that. Each person needs to be filing their own return. Often, if you have someone file your tax return for you, they will do them at the same time. And software now makes it, so that it looks maybe like it's a joint return, but it's not. It's two unique, separate tax returns, because like your social insurance number, those are separate and unique and personal to the individual. Click on any of these and that, it'll take you to what's new for the year. How COVID benefits may impact, because of course we are hearing a lot about people that applied for benefits or received benefits that perhaps now are being deemed as not having been eligible for them. So if you're making a repayment or if you received benefits, right, how that will impact the return that you're filing. And we walk you through steps to ensure that's done properly and there's no stress. Payment dates as well. But then it takes you down into the knowing what to report and claim, right? So reporting your income, claiming deductions, if you're small business or self-employed. What if you're missing a slip, right? Where can you go? Where can you find that information other than going back to the person that was supposed to issue it to you if it never arrived, or perhaps it got misplaced or destroyed or this type of thing, right? There are ways to be able to get that information. We also go into keeping your information up to date, but why it's important, and then ways to do your taxes and that as well. So whether you're wanting to do your own and that you can, we security check and approve many different types of software on many different platforms. So whether it's a computer download, or whether it's a app to your phone, or whether you're going to someone else's, like the company's website, to do it online up on their server, and that many different options in there. But they have to run all of that through us, and we have to make sure that everything is secure, any of the changes have been encompassed, so that it works properly with our processing system and that. And so until we get that double checked in that, they will not be put up on our website. But that's how you can ensure that it is certified tax software, because we've said, yep, we've gone through and checked it and it's all good. There are, of course, also you could use a tax preparer, so you could pay someone or to do it for you, but electronically file it, and then it's called e-file when someone else does it for you. If you do it yourself, it's called net filing. There's also the Community Volunteer Income Tax Clinics, as I mentioned, or CVITP program. You can still file a paper return, and you can either download it and print it, or you can order one to be mailed to you as well. And then File My Return, which is an automated phone line. Invitation letters are sent out to individuals. You must get invited to use that at this point. It's been piloted and been very successful and well received for a few years now. So I think that's what we're going to start seeing being rolled out more. For people who have very simple returns, they have the same income source every year, no extra deductions that are difficult to keep track of, and that. And so then we take you through how to send it to us and that, depending on how you've prepared it, if you owe or if you're getting a refund, what to be able to expect, and then what to expect after you file your tax return, right? How you get your notice of assessment. Have you signed up for the My Account online service? And through that, you've elected to receive electronic notifications or email notifications. Then you won't get your notice of assessment hard copy paper in the mail. You'll just get an email saying that you have a new message in your My Account with regards to your 2022 tax return, and please go and check it. There will not be a link in that email though. So if you get anything from us that has a link to it to click or says, we've calculated your return, here's your refund, please click on this link to deposit your refund, please know that it's probably a scam. I would say 99.9% of the time it's a scam, because we don't send anything out with links, and there's only two ways that we pay out monies to you. If you're eligible for it, it's either direct deposit to the bank account that you've already set up, or check in the mail to the address that we have on file. So anytime there's anything with an e-transfer, you need to deposit anything, no, it's definitely a scam. Okay. And of course, we have a frequently asked questions page in that as well. And then moving down, depending again on the time of year, we will have different features and that. So the self-employment deadline and that was last week. So of course that was timely. If you needed to make changes to a return and you electronically filed it, this runs you through the process of being able to file an adjustment electronically as well. And then just simply to why it's important to file the return, right? If you're expecting any kind of benefits or credit payments throughout the year. And again, right, the feedback, did you find what you were looking for? Date modified, as I said, right, the end of February. So that was the last time that this page was updated, but the information inside of these may have been updated since that with anything new that came out. The other thing I wanted to note on here as well, and under other tax situations, right? So perhaps you live in Quebec where you have to file a separate provincial return, whereas in Ontario, we don't have to. It's part and parcel. It used to be the pink sheets that were included in the paper returns. Now they're just simply different provincial sheets, but it's part and parcel of the same federal return and that you would be filing. But this one for filing returns for someone who has died, right? So if this page here will take you through what the steps that you need to do to consider depending on the situation and walk you through the steps that are required after someone has passed away. So this is a really great resource. We also have a form that you can request and have sent to you in that as well. We usually keep hard copies of them whenever we go out to fairs or events for people to be able to take with them as well. What I'm going to do is take you back to the main Canada page. And then from here, we're going to scroll down, and this time we're going to go into the taxes page. And then from here, so you see, I was mentioning about the fact that we have guides and forms and that you can go in here to be able to order it online to have it mailed to you. Again, finding benefit payment dates. So that was that page that I showed you earlier with regards to, you choose which pension or which payment it is that you're expecting. It'll tell you what dates that will be there. But because we had mentioned about different credits and benefits and that for individuals and that, I'm just going to take you into this one here. Because of course, right now the buzz is all about the new grocery rebate, which is scheduled to be issued on July the 5th. From the time that it was announced to today's date, and of course, everything on the, that we're watching on the screen here and that is current as of today. So, something could change tonight or tomorrow, and this information may be different in that. But it actually does take you to a proper explanation of and a calculation spot, so you can figure out whether or not you're going to be entitled to it, because it is intended for low to moderate income individuals and families. But also things like the debt recovery, right? So a lot of people have said that some of their, they're not getting all their GSTC payments, or maybe they're not receiving all of a benefit payment that they expected before. This will take you to a link in that to be able to help you find out what's going on with that payment and why something changed. One of the other really great tools that we have on here is a child and family benefits calculator. And if you click on this link, it will take you to a calculator, basically. It asks you for some basic information, your age, where do you live, are you married or not, what your marital status is, do you have children or not, a couple of others. It does not ask you any personal or private information though, okay? So you can put in whatever date of birth that you want in there that's close to. Mostly it's wanting to know, are you under the age of 19 that you wouldn't be eligible to receive certain benefit payments? Are you over 65 where you may qualify for some payments specifically for seniors? And especially depending on the province too, right? That's important because as I showed you in the payment dates one, right? Alberta has their own provincial payments. Ontario has Trillium benefits here for residents of Ontario. So that part is really important. And then it'll ask you as well what your income level is, and that because some of them are intended for low to modest income households. So that's pretty much as specific as the calculator will ask you, but it will then tell you any of the payments that based on the information you put in there that you would be eligible to receive. So then you would be able to double check and, because if you happen to hear, maybe some of your friends or your neighbors or family members saying, oh, I got this payment on, but you didn't get that payment. And that's an opportunity that you can kind of go in there and kind of go, okay, why, right? Versus calling and waiting on hold to say, why didn't I get this payment or what was this payment, right? Because sometimes it's a little bit like that telephone game where one person hears, something or finds out something, and then by the time it passes down through 5 different people, it's something completely different. But so this page as well goes through all of the different types of benefits and credits that are available depending on what your situation is. If you're curious about it, right, this is where you could go in and it will tell you and that all the information. We do have a guide about it, so you could order that to come home to you so that you can read it, as is best for you. So the one-time top up to the Canada Housing Benefit that was announced last fall, it has now closed because there was an application period and you needed to apply for it. Unlike this grocery rebate that's just simply being calculated in the same way as the GST, HST credits are being calculated. So all you need to do is make sure you've filed your tax return, and CRA will run the calculations and then send you a notice to let you know if you're entitled to it, and if you are, how much. Okay. This one is a really great one too. On that, the getting the right CRA benefits and credits for your family. It takes you into a little bit more detail than just this general page. And again, right, the features at the bottom will change depending on the time of year. This is a really good one, about if your benefits are being reviewed, right? So if you get a letter or a phone call because perhaps you claimed something on your tax return, and if you file electronically now, you don't send in any receipts, right? But you need to hold on to those receipts for 7 years because CRA can come back and ask you to send in copies of those, and that just to be able to validate that claim. And so again, it will link you into my account. But this overview page is actually pretty good, and asking you, and it's a matter of, right, are you eligible, and do you want to apply? Well, some of them you don't have to apply for, depending on what the situation is. And so it kind of runs down, right? If you're married or common law, or if you have children in that way, but then also other benefits if you're expecting a baby, and that what you need to do after you apply. So of course, if you have a baby, you've got to apply for child benefit for the new baby. But once you've applied the first time, all you got to do is file your tax return every year, right? In that way. And again, it'll link you to the child and family benefits calculator in case you're curious to see, do we qualify? Is our income too high, or what's going to happen with that, right? And again, it also will link you to the benefit payments date, where to mail forms, service standards, right? Finding out processing times, which is awesome. CRA uncashed checks that you can only view through my account. Unfortunately, you can't just call us and say, oh, do I have any uncashed checks? You do need to sign up for the My Account service to be able to look at that information. The one great thing though is they have reestablished the portal between the My Service Canada account and CRA's My Account. So if you already have a sign in for My Service Canada account, there's an option in there to go over to the CRA one in that, and it'll just, you can click on it, it'll say, we're about to redirect you to the My Account site. Are you sure that you want to go there? You click yes, and it'll automatically port you over there without you having to have a separate sign in. So that's a pretty cool option in there. The last thing I would just like to mention is if you do need to call us, at the bottom of every page, again, as I said, right, it's the contact us here. And so when you scroll down, it has most requested, so you can click directly on it and it'll take you to the link, depending on what the situation is. And that here, you would just scroll down with it. It also walks you through what information to make sure that you have with you, right, when you do call, because we are going to ask questions and ask for information to make sure that you are who you say you are, just so that we're not giving out or making any changes to any of your personal and private information without ensuring for sure that you are who you say you are, right? And then, of course, special circumstances at the bottom, and that, right, if you need to call CRA on someone else's behalf. But then all you need to do is click on here. It pops open, depending the field on that for personal taxes. And the great thing in here is not only does it show the phone number, it shows the approximate wait time, when that time was updated, and then the hours of service. Okay, so 8 to 8 for the Canada Dental benefit, getting help to unlock the My Account, and that. This is our general line, our general inquiries line. When you dial that number, it gives you a few options, right? So it will say to you, press 1, and don't quote me on that. It may not be one that you use, but it will say, press 1 if you need help with unlocking My Account, and then you would click that. And so the wait time on that option is 29 minutes, and that with it, right? But it is very possible, depending on what it is that you're calling us about, that the wait time could be more or less, right? So getting a security code, it's only 25 minutes, again, in that same phone number. But in with this one so let's say you're calling, it's the middle of July and you haven't gotten the grocery rebate and you haven't received anything in the mail or that, and you're curious and that about it. Any of the benefits and credits and that, this is our separate toll-free line for that. So if you were to call through to this line and just wait to speak to an operator, it's currently 25-minute wait, but you say, I have a question about that grocery rebate because I didn't get it. They're going to say, 1 moment, please. They're going to transfer you over to the other designated line that's supposed to be for benefit and credit payments. And then you could be waiting another 27 minutes. So it's really important that you make sure you're calling the right line, and choosing the right option as clear cut, as possible from the options that are there, just so that you're not waiting any extra time in that you don't need to be, just simply because you called the wrong number. Okay. Yeah. And so with that, I think I'm going to wrap that up from there, but I hope that's been helpful.